That's just my little, every time you mention someone, I see how I could connect it all together.
You know what? Kevin Bacon is out. Shaun Cassidy is in.
There you go.
Welcome to the Shaun Squad Society podcast, the podcast for all of us teeny boppers who were head over heels in love with our teen dream, Shaun Cassidy. We believe that it's time to tell our stories in our words, remembering the first time we discovered Shaun. Our podcast will feature stories of concerts, memorabilia, and everything Shaun. So come along with us on this journey to share the stories that helped us create the Shaun Squad Society podcast with your hosts, myself, Penny,
Dame Madonna,
Cindy,
and Doris.
Hello, Squadsters. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good.
Great. Welcome.
Yeah, great.
Good. Yeah, welcome back. I tell ya, did everybody hold up with the heat this week?
Oh, yeah. Very hot out in the Midwest.
In the Midwest.
Well, I just heard that it's the hottest July in the history of temperatures all over the place, really.
Well, I hope it
Yes.
goes away and does not continue in August.
Yeah. A temporary visit is fine, but then it needs to go somewhere else.
Yes, it does. But hey, I got a question for everybody.
Yeah.
So, what does Craig Gentry, Dale Thurston, Craig Singer, Cotton, David Dishinger, how do you say that? Anybody help me out, please?
No, I don't know.
You
You're
did
close.
great.
Did I do good?
I think
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
it.
I think you're close.
Okay. Edmund Parker Jr., Roger Myers, and Dusty Walker have in common.
Woohoo, I know.
Oh,
her.
wait, I forgot one. And Joe Hardy. What did these?
Oh,
yeah,
Hardy.
can't forget that.
They were
Hmm.
all characters that Shaun played.
Yay.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And the reason I bring that up is this episode is going to be all about characters that Shaun has starred in. And not only the characters that he's been, but the star-studded cast that he's played with. So today, I want to start with the biggest star-studded cast, which is Once Upon a Texas Train.
And I like Westerns, so I enjoyed that movie.
It was good.
It was good.
It was really good. And my favorite part of it was his like scruffy cowboy look.
Yes.
The scruffy.
Yeah.
That is
Reminds me of your
definitely,
husband.
that's everybody's favorite part, I think. When
Yes.
He has that scruffy Western thing going on.
His cowboy look. Yes.
Yep.
I'm all for that.
You know, and
Reminds me of Penny's husband.
because Terry always wears boots and hats. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. But you know what else? You know, even though he played, I thought he was younger when he was in that. And I looked it up and he was in his 20s, I want to say, like 28 years old or maybe even 30. But he also still wears cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And he's even posted pictures of that lately because his daughter does barrel racing.
That's true.
So it's really cool. Yeah. But in the show, you know, probably I forget how far into it, John Henry, which is played by Willie Nelson, and Cotton run into each other. And John Henry asks his name, and he says Cotton.
And he's the leader of the Young Outlaws.
Yes,
He's the leader.
the leader.
And he's tough.
Yeah, tough.
He's got a
Bad
tough
guy.
heart.
And it's the character that Shaun plays.
Absolutely. Correct. And so John Henry, a.k.a. Willie Nelson, says
Yeah.
Cotton, and Cotton says, yes, just Cotton. I mean, that right there is just a classic.
He's cool.
It's cool. That's cool.
That's
Cotton.
cool.
Yes.
He's a cool cowboy.
Cowboy. Yes. But what are some of your favorites part of the show?
He
Well,
got
I
the
like
girl.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't
And it's
spoil it
cool
yet.
that Willie Nelson. Yeah. Willie Nelson actually directed it, so that's cool.
Yes, that was really cool. And actually, there was a long list of like directors and everything in it. But,
Yes.
you know, but speak of star-studded cast. I mean, Angie Dickinson.
yeah, she was great.
Well, you know what I just found out? Angie Dickinson was married to Burt Bacharach.
I have no clue who that is, so help me out,
Very
Doris.
interesting. He was a
Burt-
famous songwriter.
Burt Bacharach wrote a lot of songs that, her name goes away from me now, but he was a really big songwriter. And
Dionne Warwick did some of his songs? Yeah.
sings a lot of Burt
Oh,
Bacharach
wow.
Yes.
songs.
Wow.
Thank you, Cindy. And I just couldn't believe I just found that out. I went, Angie Dickinson, wasn't she policewoman?
Yes, she was.
Oh my
She-
God, I
she
forgot
was
about that.
Policewoman
Fun fact.
was
Yes.
married to Burt Bacharach, who wrote all of these great songs of the 70s. He is one of the biggest songwriters of the 70s.
He is. Is he still around?
I don't know. I don't think so. But Angie, I just found out, is 91.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, you speak of songwriters. Willie Nelson has probably written more songs than any songwriter ever.
But question, did he sing a song in that movie? I don't think he did.
You know, I don't
I
either.
was thinking about that. I'm like, did he
Should've.
sing a song in that train movie?
I don't think he did.
I don't think
he
he did
may
either.
have composed one, and now I'm really upset with
Because
myself.
in the
that-
beginning, it was just music.
yeah,
There was no singing.
Huh.
Now I'm going to have to research that.
Yeah.
But I do know, I mean, he wrote a lot of songs for a lot of people, especially Patsy Cline, and he wrote her number one song, Crazy.
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 Oh, he wrote
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
Wrote crazy.
Yeah. And again, a lot of songs. And actually, you know, he has a radio station, Willie's Roadhouse on Sirius XM, and his daughter is actually one of the DJs.
Oh,
it's like one of my
nice.
favorite channels. On,
I'll have to
on
listen to that.
Yeah. Yeah. But let's go to Chuck Connors. I mean, seriously.
He was in all the movies back then, all the TV shows.
Wasn't
The
he
Gunman
on
or
the
something?
Cop show also?
Yep.
Chuck Connors, one of those.
He did a show called The Gunman, I remember.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think it was black and white.
Weren't they all back then?
Back in the 60s.
Yeah. But, you know, this show actually had some, I mean, really good reviews. And you can still watch it almost on any, like, streaming channel today.
Yeah, it was released back in 1988.
And that's funny to me because I was watching TV in 1988, and this was a TV movie, or was this in a theater movie?
I think it was a TV movie.
I think it was a TV movie and not a theater movie.
How did it get past me?
Yeah,
How
me
did I
too.
not
I was
know?
married, having kids. I was busy.
Well,
I didn't see it right away.
I
says
was-
right-
Just started college.
Yeah. It says Once Upon a Texas Train TV movie, 1988. And it says, you know, then it gives the cast and all that. Speak of songs, and you guys were wondering if Willie Nelson sang in it. I'm
Yeah.
wondering if Shaun and Willie ever did a song together,
Oh.
because Willie did a lot of songs with a lot of people, a lot of duets. And I do know, like in the last few years or so, that George Strait was thinking, I've never did a song with Willie. And so
Yeah.
he wrote a song and he and Willie did it. It would be fun to know if Shaun ever did, and it's just never been heard.
I
Yeah, I
wonder
can
if
see
they
them sitting around.
actually sat around.
A
during
campfire.
That's what I was
breaks.
picturing.
Right, Dame? They were sitting around
Yes.
like during the breaks and
Yeah.
strumming
having
guitars
fun.
and singing.
Right. But, you know, I can almost bet you Willie Nelson never did the Do Run Run. Or
No.
maybe he did. Maybe he did. I don't know.
No.
I mean, you know,
Maybe
because,
Shaun broke into On the Road again.
well, I would almost bet he did or could have,
That's
because that's a good one. Almost anybody
Yeah.
could do that. But, you know, here's another thing. How fun would it have been if they, after, you know, filming, they had beer for their horses and whiskey for their men? You know, that was Willie Nelson and Toby Keith.
That's what he
That
did.
would have been funny. I would have loved to know what else Willie Nelson brought on the set that he had or didn't have for
Or
everyone else.
Recreational, you mean?
Well, hey,
Well,
Oh, no.
we all know.
Recreational
You know.
activities?
and there's another one that Toby Keith brought up. Roll one with Willie. You know,
Okay.
let's leave it there and let's move on to, how about Murder, She Wrote?
Yeah, that was good too.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that one was, he got into these murder mystery TV shows.
Yeah, 3 in a row he did.
Murder,
Yeah.
She Wrote was, back in the day, I didn't watch any of those like Matlock, Murder, She Wrote. I
Neither
thought
did I.
those old people shows, I couldn't find
I
them.
agree with you. I think they were for other people to watch.
There was a demographic that CBS was going for, and it wasn't us.
It wasn't my genre.
I loved Murder, She Wrote. I mean, I really did. And I didn't want to miss it because it was a mystery. I loved mysteries. But I do not remember that episode. And I could not find it to watch it. So you guys have to talk about this one.
It
was hard to find.
Actually, I just watched
But
it.
the thing is, it's on reruns probably once a week at 2 a.m. So I'm not up then to watch it.
You can find it on Peacock's.
Yeah,
free Peacock
something.
streaming. It's everywhere.
Well, it sounds like Shaun liked to be the detective back then.
Well, what does
You
that
know?
tie into? The Hardy Boys.
Right.
Yes, exactly. Did you
Exactly.
still think
No
he
surprise.
was that boy detective?
Yep, that
It's no
boy
surprise.
detective.
But
And how would you compare them, to each other, the characters?
They were serious.
Yeah.
He didn't have any really light roles. I think they were all kind of seriously played.
Yeah.
in this one,
John,
in
are you serious?
in the Murder, She Wrote episode, I don't know that he was a detective
Okay.
more so than he was. I thought he was a law student, but then I couldn't really figure out what he was.
Well,
he was
he's
just
smart.
the guy's friend. I know he wanted to help his friend get off for that murder that he was kind of penned for when that guy stole his song and they thought he killed him.
Well, you don't mess with the songwriter.
That
That's
was
for
the
sure.
thing.
And they deliberately named his character Chad Singer
Oh,
because he's a teen idol.
Teen idol.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where the name came from.
I was wondering that. Thank you, Cindy. Yes. But, there again, let's talk about star-studded cast. I mean, Angela Lansbury.
She had everybody on there.
Oh, my God. Yeah, another one. Who wouldn't want to be on her show?
I would go.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, if I could just be someone walking in the background and just even get a glimpse of her in person, to me, that would be like getting a glimpse of Shirley Jones.
And I think they were friends too.
Yeah.
Angela Lansbury was friends with Shirley Jones.
Yeah.
Probably because Angela Lansbury was a stage actress.
Back
Mhm.
when Shirley was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she came from theater, so
Well, are we ready to move on to the next character?
Yeah, which one do you want to talk about?
Well, let's go to Matlock. Let's go to Craig Gentry.
I liked that one.
I did.
It's a 2-episode series for Shaun.
Yes.
It was in 2 episodes.
Yes.
Part 1, 2.
And wasn't his dad like in the mob?
Yes, his dad was a mobster, and he didn't like what his dad was doing in the mob, so he disconnected from him and changed his name. But then he got set up for some murder with a politician,
Yeah.
and his dad came back to defend him, and Shaun didn't really want him there, but he let him stay till it was resolved. But there was a really nice scene where Shaun had to say goodbye to him again, and he started crying, and I'm like, you know what? Because he says, I never got to say goodbye to you before, and it reminded me of his dad dying.
Right.
His dad passed away, and he never got to say goodbye to him, and I saw the emotion in his face. It was very touching. That was the scene I remember from that one
Right.
most.
and speaking of which, going back for a quick second to the Angela Lansbury, the Murder, She Wrote
Right.
episode, Chad Singer was his name.
Yes.
Yep.
And he gave a quote. He was talking to his friend, and it was some silly quote. And he goes, as my Uncle Jack used to say. And I kind of picked up on that right away. I think he purposely said his Uncle Jack. As a little tribute to his dad.
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of little things you can pick up in
Right.
those shows.
And I've said this before because Shaun said, and I forget if it was in the People magazine or where we heard it, that he did say that a lot of characters he played had references to things that in his real life and
Yes.
family members,
Yes.
but they're hidden. But he knows where they're at. So that's
I was picking up on it.
that's great, Therese, and Cindy, that we picked up on that. And hopefully we're right, that you guys are right on that.
Because I checked on Jack Cassidy. He passed away, when was it? In 1976. So he did Matlock in 1986.
Right.
So he must have been referencing his dad.
Yeah.
He passed away by then.
That was such a tragic death. I can't imagine.
I remember when I heard about that.
Me too.
Right. That was awful. Let's talk about the star-studded cast. Andy Griffith. Doris, I know you're dying to talk about this.
So
You are.
you know me.
I know Doris.
I have this 6 degree of separation thing that I do. And it's, everybody knows the 6 degree of separation game.
Yep.
Well, I play it with Shaun. Well, we got Andy Griffith. Well, Andy Griffith had Ron Howard as Opie. Well, Ronnie Howard was in The Music Man with none other than Shirley Jones.
Yes, he
And
was.
Shirley Jones is none other than Shaun Cassidy's mom.
There we go.
Yep. There's our 6 degrees.
So,
of
yeah, that's just my little, every time you mention someone, I see how I could connect it all together.
You know what? Kevin Bacon is out. Shaun Cassidy is in.
There you go.
There it
Sorry,
is.
Kevin. We didn't mean to boot you, but
Yep. You're replaced, Kevin Bacon. I'm going to go to one of my favorites, Dale Thurston, Alfred Hitchcock. Dale Thurston was a med student. Did you guys watch it?
Yeah, but I wasn't too interested in that one.
No.
It didn't catch me.
I think because I like that murder mystery thing again. And when I was younger, I was like, just the name Alfred Hitchcock. And the way it starts and it's dark and stuff.
right.
And that black and white like that.
That's silhouette.
Yeah, that silhouette. I didn't like it. It kind of scared me.
Yeah.
And I would dream about it at night.
Back in the day, I would not watch that.
And
No.
didn't he have a low, kind of heavy breathing
Yeah.
voice or something? I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah. But then I noticed it's one of those movies on all night long, kind of like Murder, She Wrote. You can watch a lot. Matlock, you can watch a lot. And I did not see this, like that until we started to, research the stuff. And I watched it and I'm like, I don't know what and why I was scared about that entry, that the beginning of it.
Well, nowadays it doesn't seem like it's scary, but
No.
when you're a kid,
Yeah. So I do like it. And when I started watching it, I thought, well, this was a really good episode because he's a med student. He's very spoiled. He shows, he's kind of arrogant in it. And he had breeze. He was going to inherit all this money if he passed and became a doctor. And, he made a lot of money by selling the copy of test. The professor knew he was the one selling it.
Yes.
Called him out on it and this and that. I guess wasn't the professor going to change the test or turn him in or something? And then Dale said, well, you can't because then I'm not going to inherit this money. You can't do this to me. So he offered someone who did this in the past. Am I on the right track, you guys? I'm trying to remember all this.
You watched
But
it.
yeah, twice, and I'm still,
well, I watched all these pretty close together, so I get them mixed up.
I know, I do too. This guy was going to help take the $100,000 and help him murder the professor. And they thought the professor was actually dead. And then I guess the girl that Dale Thurston was dating, I guess the professor had called her or she found him. And
In the end,
in the end, he was arrested and was trying to still say it wasn't him, but then, fingerprints and the conversations and anyway, but
doesn't that how it ends? Like they
that's how
arrest
it
him and
ends.
put him in the car?
Yeah. And then you really don't know.
No.
That's it. But anyway, there we go. If anybody knows the true ending, let us know. Okay, well, let's move on to another really good character. We are going to go to one of my favorites. I know it's one of Dame's favorites and probably Doris's and Cindy's as well. Like Normal People, Roger Myers. And I'm going to bring up the cast or his co-star, Linda Purl, who played Virginia. I mean, what a sweet, loving, caring show. I mean,
They were good together.
Yeah, they're good together and played very, very well. I watched it several times and it just brought back so much for me. And I'll let everybody else talk now.
Aw. No, like normal people, it just reminds me of how, kids have sensitive feelings. And no matter what, in this, you could just tell, no matter how a child is or if they need special needs, they want a normal life too. They want to find somebody to love. They still believe in romance. And Shaun's a romantic. He'll tell you that. And you can tell that he is. He said that time when we did the Father's Day the concert, he said that's why he had so many kids. He's just a romantic. Well, in this show, it talks about, how at first he didn't even want to go and be around people like that. Shaun didn't. He was really hurt. But he was playing. Who was he? What was his first name in there?
Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Okay, now I remember. Thank you, Cindy. It was just really sweet. Once he saw a girl that he could have a crush on, he took her back, and showed her his records, and that meant a lot. And I thought it was really sweet that they were both willing to play those characters. It just proves that anyone can be somebody. And it shows how everyone, wants to feel needed. Even Roger, like you said, Cindy, Roger goes to a special place where he goes and he meets this girl. He falls in love with her. And that's Virginia, correct?
At the bunny rabbit, he said.
Yeah, the bunny.
They met at the bunny rabbit.
He
calls. Oh, sorry.
Oh, Dame, I was just going to say, that wasn't the first girl he met, though. He, from 8, 9 years old, he was
This 11-year-old girl. He wrote a Valentine's to, and he almost got in trouble.
Well,
yes,
but he was
I remember that.
He was 18 when that happened, but I'm going back when he was at home and. I don't know, he was interacting with his dad or his brother or something. And he's like, he was going to go to dance and and there'll be girls there. He was always interested in girls.
He had a cute smile when he said
that. A cute smile. Or, when he got the job at the YMCA.
Yeah.
And that's where a dance was too. And he told his mom, he was excited he got this job at the YMCA because there was girls there.
Yes.
So he was always attracted to girls and was going to get a girlfriend. Cute. So it was. And he was
really pretty independent from the beginning. He always had that independence. He was going to do things. He was always wants to be successful.
Strong-willed. Very strong-willed in this show. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that. And you couldn't tell him. You could not tell Roger he could not do anything.
Right.
Oh, but he was so hurt in that show. He said, "Mom, did you really call me that?" That just broke his heart. And that shows why we should say special needs. That's very important.
There was an episode. There was an episode where he got and somebody wrote the girl a letter that was not nice.
It was another 11-year-old boy.
Yeah, and they blamed it on him.
Right.
Yes.
But, Dame, I grew up with a brother, and I'm going to say the word retarded. And that's what it was in the 60s.
That's how they
referred
to
70s.
It. Yes, back then.
And yes, it has changed. And my brother didn't see himself any different than Roger. And my brother did want to get married. And we told him he couldn't, just like Roger and Virginia.
It was beautiful. I mean, in this show, I thought it was so cute because when he saw Virginia, he goes, "Well, you're one of the prettiest girls," or he called her the prettiest girl there. I just thought that was precious. And even she just felt so good about that. And it just shows how everyone can be needed and there's somebody for everybody, and that's pretty special.
And they had a counselor too that was always there for them and kind of helped them along.
Yes,
and
very understanding.
Yeah, and he had this argument with the man who was trying to knock them down and stuff, and he says, "You know what?
Davis." I remember his last name because it's my maiden name, Davis. I remember that.
That counselor was so great in this movie.
Yes, he was.
Is that what you're talking about?
No, the counselor's last name wasn't Davis. I'm going to look it up, but the guy who was who built the house they lived in and named the house, the guy who kind of made all the rules, who said they couldn't get married, they couldn't have babies, they couldn't
live together.
They couldn't live together. And remember, the counselor was the one who called out the guy because the guy actually had a severely retarded child who was an institution.
Right.
That was the reason why he thought that they shouldn't have children because he thought that they could only produce another retarded child, which is not true.
Right. He says they weren't gene related where that would happen.
Right.
So, you guys, this discussion, here we are in 2023. When was the movie made?
It was in 1979.
And we could still have a big, relevant discussion this many years later about how people with special needs are,
I think he brought light to that subject when he did this movie.
By doing this, by playing this character.
And
thank you.
Somewhere along the way, the title changed. It was A Very Special Love, or it is now A Very Special Love. But like normal people, if you're out there and you want to find it, it could be under A Very Special Love. Special name of it, Penny, that you found?
Yeah, A Very Special Love.
Yes.
And so when I was looking at characters that Shaun played, that one popped up. And I'm like...
It's a true story, too.
Yeah, it is a true story. And I was like, so I look up A Very Special Love, and it linked back to like normal people. And
it's the same movie. I'm not sure when the title changed.
Cindy actually looked up Roger and Virginia Myers just a little while
together. They're on Facebook.
Yeah. And actually, you read something about them, Cindy. What did you something about they follow Shaun Cassidy or something?
Or somebody mentioned that they watched the movie and because they love Shaun Cassidy, they connected with this couple.
Actually, isn't there something about Linda Purl?
She's married to Patrick Duffy.
And
is she really?
And who's Patrick Duffy?
He was Bobby Ewing.
Bobby Ewing from
Dallas.
Dallas. Oh my God, that theme song is playing in my head.
Penny, you know what? People used to walk up to Jerry and say, "Are you Patrick Duffy?" They did.
That is too much. But that is crazy that Linda Purl is married to Patrick Duffy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And crazy. I was just watching earlier in the week by accident, Step by Step, where
he's in there.
Yeah,
Patrick Duffy.
Yeah, where he's married to Suzanne Summers. I can't think. Yeah, and they combine kids, and so that was fun. Then on Like Normal People, there again, such star-studded cast, and every character, every show he's played in, but every show he's ever played in. I mean, the star-studded cast. I just can't imagine the people he's met through these shows. And I do have to bring up another thing in Like Normal People. Remember, she talks about liking Elton John?
Yeah.
He's like, it wasn't Virginia. It was at the YMCA at a dance, and this young girl comes out with the long blonde hair. And I don't know if that's the one he sent the Valentine to, but I think it is. But she looked older than 11. He was giving out change, and she said she liked Elton John, and he got all excited and said that he made his brother take him to the concert.
First, she said she liked Donny Osmond.
Yeah, that too.
Which I thought was funny.
That too.
That's funny.
Sean's looking at her like, "Oh, you like Donny Osmond?"
Yeah, and I'm like,
Cassidy,
right? And I'm like, remember a few years ago, like on Sean's birthday, Donny Osmond saying happy birthday to him on Facebook or something. That was
put your name in there,
and then he sings. They talk about Elton John, and I'm like, wow, I think it was a year ago, Shaun was having dinner with like Elton John and
Bernie
Alice,
Taupin.
And Alice Cooper and Bernie Taupin, and I don't know who all.
Went to Elton's last concert out.
Bernie.
Shaun did.
Oh, Shaun went?
He took his family to see
Elton John.
Farewell.
But Bernie was in New York at Studio 54.
I want to tell you about this Facebook post about the couple that, Shaun portrayed in the movie. And it says, Roger and Virginia Myers have been married for over 41 years.
Wow. That's amazing. Congratulations, Roger and Virginia.
It says in the movie, Like Normal People, Roger is played by Shaun Cassidy and Virginia by Linda Purl. This is a true love story. Happy Valentine's Day to the couple.
Oh, it makes it more.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
And did they have kids?
It doesn't say in this post. I don't know.
It looks like
we'll have to look into it.
Right, I'm seeing they're holding up some stuffed animals.
Together.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, what a nice story.
It is. It's beautiful. Well, I saved the cheesiest one for last. I can't even say I saved the best for last. Well, I kind of did, with like normal people. But no, I had to save the cheesiest one for last. Yes, Dame, you almost ruined it. You almost spoiled it, Dame. But yes, Dusty Walker.
Oh, yeah.
And General Hospital.
Oh, God.
I mean, from being incarcerated.
Incarcerated.
What did I say? What did I say?
We don't know. You made up a word there.
Incarcerated.
Hey, I do that all the time, as you know. So from being released from prison
Okay.
to moving in with Terry Brock,
Yeah.
or that one lady in General Hospital, and then being a singer. I watched it, but I have no words. It was just cheesy.
Let me help you there.
He's sweet, though. He's sweet in it.
Well, he really wasn't, Dame.
I thought so.
Well, I don't think so. Yeah, Doris, you
Okay.
you tell us your story.
So I watched General Hospital back then, and fun fact, I still watch it today, me and maybe 4 other people. But General Hospital was my favorite daytime show back then. And so there was a character named Blackie, played by John Stamos. And John Stamos had left, and he had started on Full House. So I think they wanted to try to recapture that rock and roll guy that Blackie played, and they brought Shaun in. And I was so excited until I wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see that because I had to work, so I missed all of that.
He didn't. I just thought maybe daytime drama shouldn't be where he landed because he wasn't all that good. His character, they tied him all into there was this big character about these Cassidines. Luke and Laura Spencer were being chased around Port Charles and the world by the Cassidines. And somehow his character was tied into that. But he met up with the singer on the show, Terry. I think her name was Terry.
Terry Brock.
And Tiffany was Terry's manager, and they brought him in, and they made a duet out of them, a singing duet. And that was what I liked. And so the lady who played Terry on General Hospital, her name is Robin Bernard. She has a sister named Crystal Bernard, who was on this TV show Wings. And Robin Bernard, I think back in the day, or probably still is, a big gospel singer. And, she has a great voice. I love to hear her sing. And that was my favorite when they would do the singing episodes with Shaun and Terry. Well, Dusty, I think.
Yeah, Dusty Walker.
Dusty Walker.
He always had cool names in his shows.
Dusty Walker. I wonder if he chose that name.
Yeah, I wonder.
I don't know. I mean,
or they
Dusty
fitted to him?
Walker walked off into the sunset. I got to tell you that because
well, he did. I mean, he went on. Did he start in May?
May and
ended in September.
Yeah, he wasn't on very long.
And they said he just walked off the set. Like the interview said, like, how did it end? And he walked off set, so I guess
he didn't leave town or anything?
Walked into the sunset.
What was the ending?
He had to get out of town. There was this agent, WSB agent Robert Scorpio, and Robert might have been after him. I don't know. It was kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, he just kind of walked off into the sunset.
Okay, this is what it says about it. Robert wants Dusty to be thrown in jail for Agent Rush's murder as a plot to bring out Elena
Cassidine.
Yeah.
So Robert discovers who really killed Rush. And Elena plans to leave the country, and Robert goes to arrest her. And then she punches him and is killed while trying to escape. So then Dusty blames Robert for her death, and he leaves town. And that's it.
Now, is Elena the lady who was really wealthy and who Dusty Walker lived with at the beginning And then Terry was really jealous of her.
I think so.
And
because remember, he had that really rich woman that
yes,
lived.
yes.
I remember that.
I think that was Elena, because remember when she called Dusty one day and Dusty's like, well, I'm in love and all this. And so she flew the two of them out there.
Yes.
And she's hanging all over Shaun and rubbing him. And Terry Block was, getting really jealous and what have you. And I guess Elena, was trying to, he's mine, not yours. But Dusty was supposedly like either stupid or blind to it or something. And then he went to see her once to say, you need to stop this because I love her and I'm going to ask her to marry me. Do you remember that, Doris?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to come up with earlier. But again, it was cheesy. I had trouble with it.
And you know what? Shaun even mentions too, this was not his best decision. He didn't have a good experience with it, he said in an interview somewhere. So I think he understands it didn't go well.
Well, I watch Kelly Ripa every day. I mean, almost every day. I love Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest, or now her husband, Mark. And, Kelly and Mark met on the set of General Hospital.
Oh, right.
And
so, General Hospital, it's been on, they just celebrated their 60th year this year.
Wow.
So it's been on TV a long time. A lot of people have been on that show.
Yeah, 63 then when I was born.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I was saying about it is, they had a good career on it, but they both couldn't wait to just go off into the sunset and get off that show. And they really, even on their talk show, they don't talk highly of General Hospital.
Well, yeah. Can I just say, though, going back to the Cassidys,
yes,
it seems to be a place where all Cassidy land, because Shaun was on as Dusty, as we know. Shirley Jones did a guest starring role on General Hospital, just a one-day little appearance. And Shaun's second wife,
Susan Dial.
Dial.
I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
she was just on a month or so ago, within the last 5 or 6 weeks, in a couple of recurring roles as a nurse.
Yeah, I didn't know she was an actor.
Yeah, she's obviously acting, and she works on General Hospital as a nurse sometimes.
Okay, all you General Hospital people out there and all my children people out there, I stand corrected. Kelly and Mark were not in General Hospital. They were in All My Children.
All right.
Yes.
True. And say that Kelly and Mark was on All My Children, but you got there.
I got it. Like the minute Cindy or Doris started talking, I'm like, you fool. That was All My Children. But either way, they're both cheesy.
But, let's go back for a minute, because I think we left the show out.
Speak of not cheesy, but boring.
Yeah.
Boring. I thought this was so boring.
It was slow.
Boring.
It was
slow.
Breaking Away. Breaking Away was after the movie. Everybody remember the movie.
It came out in 1980.
In the early 80s, about a bicyclist.
He thought he was like from Italy. He learned to speak Italian. He
talked with the accent.
He talked with the accent.
Papa.
He was eating French foods. He thought French fries were French or something.
And he went to the opera too.
I know. But
I told my husband last night to look it up on the I think in Netflix or something that they can look up movies on, because I don't play with that a lot. And they couldn't find it. And so I, of course, got my computer out to watch it. And I told my son, I said, you need to come out and watch this with me because it reminds me of you. And I started telling him why. He got so upset at me and shut the door and wouldn't even talk to me.
Well, why does it remind you of your son?
Well, first of all, with Shaun Cassidy, took over the role as far as characters of somebody that was playing it named Dave Stoller. And he was a young man, crazy, like you guys said, about bicycle racing and all these things Italian. Well, the reason I like the show is because it reminds me of my two boys. They are at that age right now. My youngest just graduated from high school, and he has to decide what to do next. Well, in this show, the guys are out of high school, and they're trying to find out what they are going to do with their lives. So at the same age as what my boys are. Watching this show put my own thoughts into my sons by watching the way these boys interacted with each other, and then how the parents were frustrated because the boys weren't going to college yet.
Didn't they live in a town in Indiana and they were
Mhm.
stone
Yes.
cutters and they didn't want to be a cutter? That they said they just did. I didn't
Yeah.
watch it, but I'm going from
Mhm.
memory from way back when I did watch
You're
it.
Yes,
right. They're
you're right.
cutters. And I think his dad was a cutter in the
Everybody
quarry or
was
something.
the
a
quarry.
cutter, and they wanted to end that. They didn't want to be cutters.
So they
Yeah.
just go off together, and it seemed like they had little tiffs with each other too, didn't they?
It was a group of friends,
Yeah.
so they did
Mhm.
friend things and they had confrontations and things like that, but they stuck together. So it was a nice
Yeah.
friend story too. But it was a father-son story also.
I did have to quit watching it. You remember when he was riding his bike when he found out like the French cyclist race or whatever was coming to Indiana, and so he was trying to build a speed, and he was racing down the interstate or something, or a 2-lane. And a semi truck thought, "Oh, I'll help him out and get his speed going
Yeah.
and what have you." And then the semi truck got pulled over. Or do you guys remember this part?
No.
Sort of. I remember him on the road pushing some kids on a
Yeah.
moped.
I don't know, but I was just wondering because I had to turn it off right about that time. But I thought the cop went after the bicyclist and not the truck driver at that point. I don't know.
I don't remember
but-
that part.
But I mean, it was boring, but I guess it was a cute movie.
But
And
the movie
I mean, I
like
was
movies.
a number one, was one of the top grossing films of that day.
The movie had Dennis Quaid in it.
Yeah.
And, Sean did the made-for-TV
yeah,
version.
Right.
yeah.
So
I was going to say it had a pretty good cast,
It did.
like Dennis Christopher.
I had read about those characters too in it, and I thought that was really neat. And I'm glad that Shaun Cassidy took over that one role, because at first when I was watching it, I was like, "Where's Shaun?"
So I do know he ended up with the girl, but was it the girl that played Catherine? Was
I don't
it
think
Catherine?
he had a girlfriend in this movie.
His friends seem to, or like girls.
I don't
there,
think he
and-
had a girl in this movie. It was more about him and his father. It takes place in Bloomington, Indiana, but
Yes.
was actually shot in Athens, Georgia.
I remember reading something recently about Sean saying when he was filming Breaking Away in Athens, Georgia, and I shouldn't bring it up because I can't remember what the reference was, but he was talking about just recently when he was going around the country doing a bunch of stuff and he was in Georgia or wanted to go to Georgia, how much he really loved being there.
So he must have lived there for a while then.
Yeah, he lived there for that whole 7 episodes.
Yeah, but it was canceled after 8 episodes.
Well, here's something I just saw. It says, "Is Breaking Away based on a true story?" And it says the team is based on the 1962 Phi Kappa PSI Little 500 Champions, which feature legendary writer and Italian enthusiast Dave, was it Blaze? Blase, Blaze, who provided screenwriter and fellow Phi Kappa, how do you say that, PSI or Pies, or member Steve Tisch, the inspiration for the main character in the movie. So that's interesting.
Okay, so that was inspired by some.
Yeah. So that was good.
Well,
bad.
it was not his best. I gotta say, I watched it every week, but that fake Italian, he was driving me crazy. I'm like, stop with the Italian accent.
And his dad would yell at him, and I'm like, yeah, that's getting annoying.
No wonder my boys didn't want to see it with me. I'm the only dork that wanted to watch it, I guess. I thought it was good.
These are just many, or a few, should I say, of many characters that Shaun has played in. So we invite you to go to our social media and tell us who your favorite character is and why. Hey, Dame, are you ready for
Yeah.
Dame's Closet?
Oh, yeah, let me get in there. Hold on. It's kind of messy in here. Oh, guess what I just found?
What is it?
It's one of my favorites. I bet a lot of you guys have one of these too. I think I actually offered one to Cindy. There's nothing better than having something cute that you could put your food inside of. And on the outside, it has 2 brothers from a very good mystery show. And inside, there's a thermos to match. Can you guys guess what it is?
Well, I'm going to hope and pray there is not a really old peanut butter and
Sandwich.
jelly sandwich in there.
I was gonna say
Please tell me there is not a moldy peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there, and no chicken noodle, Campbell's soup, chicken noodle soup. None the
I would
least.
I'm
Sure, I
going to
still love
guess,
it.
Dame, that it is the Hardy Boys lunchbox and thermos set.
Yes, and I just love this. I couldn't have just one. So it's in my closet with the rest of my mess.
And lucky you have the thermos because a lot of people are missing that thermos. Don't lose that thermos.
The
Okay.
value
The value
It's
is
not going
just
eBay.
went up.
That's right.
This one
Please.
was brought home to me from an antique store. The other one has been brought to me differently, but this one came from an antique store way before he started doing his shows again. And my family knew how much I liked Shaun, so this was a very special gift from them.
Did it come together as a set or was it pieced together?
These together.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you have the full set, and that's all that
That's-
counts.
yep,
and I'm
that's what
so
counts.
happy that you were able to find it in your closet and share it with us today.
Yes.
Thank
And I
you, Dame.
hope next week
Sure.
you don't get hurt getting something out of your closet.
Tripping there again. You know, my closet.
Thanks for sharing your closet with us today, Dame.
Aw, thanks for letting me.
Thank you from the bottom of our teen dream hearts.
Keep on crushing.
Always believe in magic.
And have a peaceful, shantastic week.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. And make sure to keep in touch with us on our email.
Shaun Squad Society at gmail.com.
The Shaun Squad Society podcast, including past, present, and future versions, and its contents are owned and controlled by the Shaun Squad Society. The views and opinions are solely those of the Shaun Squad Society podcast. The Shaun Squad Society is written and produced and recorded at the Borden Studios. We may think we are always right, but we will get something wrong from time to time. So we assume no responsibilities or errors of submissions of content.